What's up, Wes?
Hey, tink tink.
Woo! Another close of the bar.
Yeah, we had the debate about coffee or wine. We'll keep a tradition going for that.
I think so too. I'm glad you stuck with that. I did not change my podcast jacket, but it is what it is. This seems to be the good luck podcast jacket.
I wouldn't be too worried about it.
No, it's all good.
How's your day?
Dude, I slept in. Clearly, when it gets cold, hibernation is a thing.
You're a bear.
Man, it was just tough getting out of that warm bed. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
It almost snowed last night in Georgia, which is...
Oh, the heater.
Oh, yes. Speaking of heaters.
There we go. We got till we freeze in here.
We can start it over if you want.
No, that's fine. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, man, whatever, dude. You get comfortable and you want to get lazy. And the fact that I got a new laptop on my bed, that just made it easier to not leave my bed.
I hear you, man. I woke up early this morning because I think my spidey senses were telling me something. Like, normally I wake up at my alarm, but I woke up about 7:30 this morning to catch Bitcoin tanking. So,
so do we want to jump right into that, or do we want to?
I mean, it's a trading podcast.
Because I mean, we got a lot. We got to talk about elections to follow about, right?
Oh
yeah. No. The last time we talked the day.
It was right after it.
Yeah, but it was still
now it's kind of
a lot of controversies happen.
Oh, dude,
We got to talk about your Bitcoin, of course. I also want to talk about electric cars. Right, I want to discuss that because that's kind of been a topic of ours as well. So, where do you want to start, Wes?
Let's start with crypto, man, and because that woke me up. It didn't wake me up this morning, but I felt like waking up, and I checked it. And
we hit 20,000.
Depends on what exchange you look at, but somebody asked in one of my social medias, like yesterday, like, what do I buy up here? And I gave my typical like asshole-ish cryptic response. A time machine, because people have been really piling in trying to play this break of the high, and like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know one thing: people don't get to win in the long run, like trying to play this high as it is. Like, there's been so many people that have been gone in on leverage, and then I got messages from people like, "Oh, I got stopped out on this, 5% move down," because they were leveraged up trying to get greedy and make a Lambo on this one trade. And people just don't get to win. Yeah. Like, you don't get to, you will get rewarded some, but it's going to bite you eventually. And a lot of people got bit. And you know what? Honestly, in my estimations, we haven't really broken the high. We got like a few dollars above it.
I know all those hodl people are thinking they're smart now.
Well, yeah. Like, if you just hodl, you are. But people taking out leverage positions on something like crypto that can move 20% a day. Like, why do you need leverage?
Yeah.
You don't need it unless you need to like retire. And that's what a lot of people are trying to do. They're trying to just retire on one trade, and it frustrates me because I don't know why it frustrates. Why does it frustrate me? Because I try to help them and they don't listen to me. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's it.
I was saying to you earlier, our mentor, I understand now what he went through with me 6 or 7 years ago.
We talk about all the time, and he still gets frustrated, dude, and we have the same conversations where I'm like, dude, stop. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to win this battle. And it's, I can relate to that at work, bro.
You can't change people.
You can't. And it's frustrating because I really try to treat everyone as the intelligent human beings that I believe we are.
Intelligent, emotional human
beings.
Okay,
well, then that's the other factor. The emotions are what really kind of, because that intelligence is only used towards alternative motives that they're motivated by, I guess, whatever, right? Especially in the service industry, and it's very frustrating. I can see your frustration with trading. And compare it to what I deal with day in and day out, having to like basically babysit these kids' mentality, even though they're all grown adults and over 21. So yeah, man. At the end of the day, you're the one that's allowing. I look at it like this, man. You can't control God's will, but you can control how you react to it. Right?
That's true.
If you believe you're wrong and you believe you're right, those two different people are both right. They both believe. Right, so when you wake up and you get upset, you have to reflect on yourself and be like, all right, I'm allowing.
Oh, this is a me problem. This
these
is
energy and these emotions, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they're gonna do that, and then it's just on you to change your perspective of how you reflect from that.
Well, that's why I've been so resistant. Like I've been, as I've gotten more and more public with the YouTube channel, posting on TradingView and stuff like that. Like, you know, I like.
And congrats to you, by the way,
Oh.
for fucking kicking out video after video.
I'm
after video.
actually over 100
Jesus.
subscribers now. Instead of 11 people watching, I have about 15.
All right.
So
I gotta shut up and put up, man.
well, hopefully that motivates you, but it comes with a downside, and I realized that today because what frustrated me today was because I woke up and it wasn't it wasn't a loss or anything. Nothing account related pissed me off. It was that I had one of my ideas on TradingView like moderated, and you know how internet like people
God,
are,
it's
and
almost
then you
like-
give
it's
them
almost
power.
Like it's almost like they put a mask on you.
Like censorship. Well, that's a whole different thing. I'm more. You just yeah. They censored me. They censored me for like this. What it pisses me off on so many levels because I put something about like in the title or the description. I said I had a conversation on Discord, but you're not supposed to mention Discord. And I understand why they do it because they don't want people out there shilling their paid Discords.
Can you like you know how like sometimes they'll do the cuss word where they put the F and then a bunch of the
Dude, I could
you
probably
put like
I,
dis
no, no,
and
no,
then put
I
the
could. Oh, word. Okay.
kind of like poke fun at them. Yeah.
Dude,
The
you
word
just-
that shall not be named.
The problem is, man, like you give these nerds like some power, and like there's like,
Ooh, I got power.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
control you.
dude, it's a horrible idea, internet moderators, but
But at the end of the day, it's still within their freedom, right? Like unless the government comes in, and that's kind of where a lot of that censorship. Because I'm still a huge advocate that the First Amendment should be amended towards social media.
well,
I
dude,
don't think everybody should have the
within
right to
our
post shit.
lifetime, we're gonna see a major court case on it. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Trump tried to do that, right?
no, Trump really just
The
kinda
man
laid
who
down,
like,
no, he laid down and let them have the victory.
well, that might have affected him because he loves tweeting shit.
Well, when they started censoring his tweets, and yes, that's what they did. He didn't do anything, and then I talked to a friend the other day about that. I was trying to like do a thought experiment with him. I was like, you know, okay, so he was like, oh, well, you know what? History is going to look back and look at 2020. They're going to say like, they were right to censor Trump. I was like, okay, I get that you don't like Trump. Let me play a thought experiment. What if now that Trump's going to be out of office because he's not going to win? Is that news to you? I'm sorry if that to break it to you. I know there's a lot of like
There's
a lot of stuff out there.
My side of the family in particular.
I'm sure.
Think that Trump's going to show up in the office on was it 20th? No, that's Martin Luther King. What's the day that it's official?
Is
Is
it
it
21st
sworn in or whatever in January, right?
Yeah, he's
And,
not. Yeah, he's not.
There are definitely some hardcore believers out there that think that some magical vote discrepancy is going to pop up somewhere.
I want to touch on that. But
Okay.
let me finish. What was
Finish your
what was the thought? Oh, what would
Censorship.
happen after? Okay, after being the president of the United States, he decides maybe he is as rich as he thinks he is, and he just buys out Twitter. And now he's the CEO of Twitter. He kicks out Jack Dorsey, and he starts censoring Biden's tweets. How are you going to feel about that? My friend was like, "Oh yeah, that wouldn't be good." I was like, "Yeah, it's like you know, you don't salute the man, you
Biden
salute
tweets?
the office." His people tweet for
Right.
him. He probably is like, the Twitters, you know, whatever. Old man. I shouldn't old shame people. I'll be old one day, hopefully. But anyway, no, like back to your conspiracy theory stuff. And that's another thing that, dude. Okay, putting yourself out there around people, it just you get the positive vibes. And I gotta say, I gotta start with I didn't start with a positive, but there've been a lot of good feedback that I've gotten from people. You give me a lot of good feedback, but I'll get a message in Discord from somebody saying like, "Hey man, I really appreciate what you're doing, and it really has helped me out." I saw someone today on the Discord posting a screenshot of their logs. One person listened to me and started keeping logs. It's
I
fantastic.
mean, isn't it great? That's all you need is just one.
But you know what? It's like you got the positive, but then like the negative just seems so much more.
You know, so I had and I don't know if we discussed this even on the last podcast, because it definitely was around the elections. But I was talking with my stepfather, who I highly look up to, who embodies, you know, a lot of the characteristics that I believe in. And I was just telling him, I was like, man, dude, I'm so disappointed in our political people because they should be our heroes, right? Our heroes are the sports stars, the athletes, the musicians. You know, these people that aren't always leading by the best examples, and it's cool to be the bad boy and all that stuff. And here are politicians, you know, they're corrupt and doing all this stupid stuff, being petty. And I was just very upset because I was like, man, aren't these guys we're supposed to look up to? And as I was having this conversation, I just came to the epiphany to him, and I go, you know what? I just realized I got to stop looking up to them and just embody and be that person that I believe in, that I want them to be in. And now it's like to be the good guy, to be the guy that does the right thing is now the new black sheep. It is cool
Yeah, you
and
have talked
normal to
about
be
that.
the
Yeah.
bad guy, right? You know,
Yeah.
and to be the black sheep now is to be the guy that just does the right thing.
Well, it's like over Thanksgiving, I saw so many, like even YouTube, they came out with this promotion of unthanksgiving. And I saw on the Instagrams, the new woke, postings and everything. It's like, you know, it's just something that celebrates murder of indigenous people. I mean, look, yes, our ancestors came here and wiped out the people who lived here. But that's not what Thanksgiving celebrates. Thanksgiving is an American tradition that encourages people to get together with their families and be thankful and have some gratitude. That's what it's about. And for you to take something that's positive and just want to like shit all over it,
Yeah.
no. What does that help? Who does that help? You're not helping anybody with that. You're just being an asshole.
As long as, because let me just say this. I hate all holidays. I'm a true Grinch. I don't like celebrating birthdays. I feel like I celebrate happiness 365 days a year. Thanksgiving is my one holiday I make an exception for because we get together as a family.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
And it's all surrounded around food. I did. It was kind of rushed. I had to work that night, but I was able to get with my family. I enjoyed it.
Good.
And the only thing that really bothers me is every year is they try to mask over it with fucking Christmas.
How so?
Starting to play Christmas music as soon as Halloween ends.
Yeah.
Putting up Christmas decorations.
In your family or just in culture?
In general, man. It's in the stores. You're
Oh.
walking in. I'm already got to listen to 2 months of Christmas music.
Bro,
So it's like, dude, just don't skip over
Yeah.
the one holiday that I actually enjoy.
Doesn't this go back to you? Like, just don't play any Christmas music yourself.
And
Be the change you want to see. in
or
the
just
world.
stop visiting places. So again, it goes back to the beginning of our conversation. I'm allowing this energy to come in, but I'm with you on all that. That's a whole nother debate too, because I still think, as great as this country is we still got to acknowledge that to be that great country, there was a lot of bullshit in the beginning, and it just needs to be an open, honest dialogue. And I feel like some people want to have it too much over the top, and there's a lot of people that don't want to have it at all. And if there can be a balance of the two, of recognition of like, yes, we did all these awful things to get this country going, and in light of that, it has become where other countries want to become the same kind of democracy type thing, right? Republic moving forward, because at the time we're coming away from monarchs, kings, and all that stuff. We still got dictators that we go and battle with and, try to get rid of and throw over and all that stuff. So, it's just one of those things where it was an awful sacrifice to make, but moving forward, let's have that let's mend these wounds. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, let's move forward, because I'm telling you right now, regardless of the history, not too many people are rushing out of the United States to go live anywhere else.
That's true. They still want to come here.
So as horrible as the past is, and even now with everything going on politically, it's at the end of the day, it's just being able to have those open, honest dialogues and moving forward. And I think it's happening. I think what you're seeing is this pendulum swinging, and now it's just swinging extreme to the other side, and eventually it'll balance itself out over years. And it's just, it's that PTSD of that kid that was victimized and bullied his whole life. Now he finally gets the gun, and you're telling me,
or internet moderating powers.
but just I'm using the gun as the example of that, right? The trigger, right? The justice, and the question is he going to be humble enough to do the right thing, or is he going to seek revenge too? Because then how does that separate him from the bully, right? So you're in that weird transition of now the victim has the power to swing back, but is that the right thing? And it's tough because a lot of them are swinging back, and they're taking back all this anger, all this pent up animosity, all this stuff they experienced. And it's just, the only thing that can do that is fix that is time, man. It's just time heals all wounds. And, I just encourage everybody to keep having an open dialogue. It's just, unfortunately, politics, just like this coronavirus, politics get in the way of us really getting down to the nitty gritty, right? Are you going to take this vaccine if it comes out?
I'd rather just get it.
I did.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers. You're already having a vaccine. Honestly, dude, like people...
You have to sip, man, or it's bad luck.
Yeah.
Because you know what they say about people that don't sip after cheers.
By the way, you're talking about great things. This wine's really great, actually.
Yeah, it's Woodbridge. It's not that here I'm promoting it, but
It tastes really good.
It's an inexpensive, great wine.
I don't judge it based on the price. back to like, I don't know, man. What gets me is there is a lot of bullshit associated with it. Like I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and they asked me this question in all seriousness. They said, "Do you really think that Bill Gates just has people's health and well-being in mind? Why wouldn't he? He has all the money in the fucking world. Uh, what else does he want to do? Like, what more does he want to dominate? Like, he spent the last 2 decades like trying to cure all these other diseases in Africa. He has this network of people that are dedicated to this. They've dedicated their lives to this, and this is something he's passionate about. Oh, but no, he's just part of the the elites that want us all to. I don't know, man. Like this conspiracy stuff has gotten really under my skin
Again,
because
it's that pendulum. You know what I mean? Because when I first got into it back when YouTube first came out and had no commercials, I went down that rabbit hole, and I definitely was on this rebel ambition of that I was going to go dedicate my life to changing the world and giving the world free energy. And after a while, I just came to that conclusion, man, that I'm not going to be able to beat thousands of years of developed economy, power, money, family, all that stuff that's already been entrenched doing their thing, that have knowledge, passed on knowledge, spies, all that stuff, you name it. And then I'm going to be this single guy that's going to change all that. And then I just came to the conclusion the only way to really make a better situation is to be an individual from the inside out.
100% being an individual, and just looking from hit me up. Um, looking at it from an individual perspective, people have these great narratives that they tell themselves. Like whether it's trading or it's in politics, they think that like there's all these elites that are controlling everything. I don't know who these elites are, but I do know people. And I know that two people can't agree on what to eat for lunch, much less an international, intergenerational, grand, overarching strategy. It just boggles my mind. The simplest explanation is that there is no such thing. And I think the scariest thing that I think the reason people come up with these conspiracy theories and waste their time on them is because the scariest thing is really that there's nobody in control, that we live in just chaos, just the manifestation of what's going on. I think people have a desire to think that even if they don't like them, there's somebody pulling the strings, there's somebody in control, there is a plan, rather than the fact that there may not be a plan, that we're acting out all of our natures all the time. I find that in trading too a lot because not just a segue, but really people are always like worried about like what the whales are doing or what the smart money is doing. That's a big buzzword they sell stuff on. But if there's
money, huh?
there was a lot, there was billions and billions and billions of smart money that in 2018 was shorting Tesla, and they got crushed. And so that's a key example you can look at. You can see all these institutions, all these smart people, both from the people that've been doing it for careers. They lost billions and billions of dollars because they thought that they were smarter. And so people make mistakes. Like this whole, when the smart money does this, you need it. No, like I think there's people out there that have more degrees than me. There's people out there that have higher IQs than me. There's people that have been doing this longer than me. But I don't think they're necessarily that much different.
Yeah.
Like this table right here, I can't build this, right? I don't have the skills to make this table, but someone does, and they don't have a bigger brain than me.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like you're not at a disadvantage because you're not one of these people. But I think it's an excuse that people use for failure sometimes. It's like they have this advantage over me because they're smarter than me, or they have more money. It's like, no, they do stupid things too.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what their life is all about. You don't know them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be sitting here with a nice family, not much money, and they could have their kids. They're just total absolute assholes. You don't know what their family life is about. You don't know these people, but you just assume that they have something on you. I can't get there.
Did you have your final thought on Bitcoin?
Oh, I think that I don't like this price action here at the top.
You think it's going to pull back?
I don't know,
Okay.
but I'm just saying.
Based on your technical analysis,
The longer it takes,
educated guess.
the longer it takes, the less likely it's going to break the high. But if it does break the high, it's going to go about 46% overshoot. At that point, I'm going to wait to see if it holds the December monthly bar. Like a lot of people are going to be sitting down there on the damn 5-minute looking at this, but you have to look at gold. I made a post about this a few weeks ago. Look at what gold did. You know, it was very clear, you know, mid-year that gold from about July was going to get to the all-time high. It overshot it by a few percent,
Got overextended.
and then it snapped back
Yeah.
down. There was a bunch of people. Oh man, the gold bugs are just insufferable because like they were sitting there like,
What's
oh,
that guy's name?
Schiff, yeah, Peter Schiff.
Schiff, that got the gold credit card.
Well, he's just
Always
you
promoting doom and gloom.
You 100%. He doesn't sell gold. He sells fear,
Yeah.
and the solution to his product he sells on his website, which is
man,
gold.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. We were talking
You
about
know,
that
I
before
don't
the
hate on
podcast,
him.
right?
He's
If you're
got a
dumb
good
enough to
marketing
fall
thing.
for it, shame on you.
Well, what got me was the gold bugs that were just really, really taking a victory lap when their silver was finally up after sitting on it for like 10 years.
Poor dad.
Well, I mean, the problem is not that, you know, people were in silver and they held on to it with diamond hands. It's that when it finally went up after 10 years, you're like, see, now we're right and you're all wrong. It's like, no, you've been wrong for 10 years. And ego got the best of them.
It doesn't count until you close that account out.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that all the time. They're like, I'm up in my portfolio. I'm like, yeah, but you have not.
If you're bragging, you should be taking profits.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's anyway, man, let's jump on another topic
What's up?
that's been pretty popular besides the tech world. The electric vehicles.
Oh, dude,
man,
that's another good one.
Nikolai?
Yeah.
Is it Nikolai, the truck
Well,
company?
NKLA,
NIO has
yeah.
been in the news. Tesla's always in the
Tesla.
news. God, I feel like there was
there's
another
lots
one.
of others. There's Plug, which is like the powering stuff. I don't keep up a lot. I mean, there's other YouTubers and stuff, and I watch them enough to kind of get a gauge on the hype.
Yeah.
And one thing that I noticed coming into this week, way too many people are way too bullish.
Yeah, you know the best fundamental news I have learned to really look forward to as far as knowing when not to buy is when people I know that don't trade hit me up with, what do you think? And that Nikolai
100%.
and the whole EV, I have a couple friends that were like, hey man, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And I was like, you know, and I had to really look at myself in the mirror because I am a little biased because I love electric vehicles. I'd like to see more of it.
I do
I'd
too.
like to encourage
My next
it.
car is going to be an
But
electric
currently,
vehicle.
in the next 6 months, I don't think it was like where I wanted to be. So,
Well, these people aren't into it because they like electric vehicles. They're into it because they want to YOLO, triple, quadruple, 10x their money
yeah.
now on this, just like they do every year. It's the meme of the year. A year ago, or a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it was pot stocks. Before that, it was blockchain. It's like every year there's a meme, and they all go up and they all go crazy, and they all end the same way, spectacularly.
Yeah.
And so what got me was that you had this this week actually was very interesting because last week I made a call on NIO. I took a put out because it gave me my signal. It gave me what
From
I
a
take
technical analysis,
from a technical
yeah.
analysis. I have this one signal that I trust that has been making me all the money this year, which is just simply something breaks above support or resistance and it comes back with it inside it. That's it. That right there tells you that people tried to shoot it up. Bitcoin did it last week too. You know, and so they try to shoot it up. They can't make it go any higher. It takes away a lot of the momentum. And so I saw that on NIO, and so I jumped on it. Now, as time has gone on, you then had the news come out about NKLA, their deal with GM falling through, and that tanked the stock down by 24% right there. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but if this is the blow off, you can point to that and you can say, okay, that's when the euphoria started dying, basically. That is the moment. Because I paid attention to the price action of NIO. It went down a little bit that day, you know, because it still was hanging around break even. Tesla, on that day, this was Monday, this was just yesterday, opened higher and then sold off. And so it's like, okay, like there's contagion in this sector, which is obvious. They're all the same. They're all related. So that's what I'm watching. And then Tesla, here's another key. Tesla last night, they had some S&P edition news where instead of being phased into the S&P, they're going to be put in all at once. After hours, that popped it up, but today, down it goes.
Yeah.
Normally, bull markets discount all bad news. If you have if you have a stock market that's going up, like during the summer, I remember there was a day in June where that weekend there was protests, there were riots, the cities were on fire. Monday, the stock market opened up like 2%. I was like, America's burning and the stock market is up. Buy. Because it doesn't care. It
Yeah.
doesn't. And so, but the reverse is also true. You had really bullish positive news that in any other time in the last couple of months, something about Tesla would have made it go up almost double-digit percents, and it didn't.
So it's just telling you that you can't put your heart into fundamentals.
No, you can.
How important technical analysis is to really give your final thought.
Well, see,
right?
this, I say that fundamentals are fun to talk about.
Yeah.
This is fun to talk about. I'm already in NIO, based on a technical. But what I'm saying is, after I got in the position, now you're starting to see these things kind of come out to confirm it. And now in the past, people look back and like, well, it did it because of this, but there was no money been made on it.
Yeah.
You don't know what the future is going to bring. You can just write it in the media afterwards to fill up, text. But it's kind of a pet peeve of mine when people come in and ask like, why did the stock market go down today? Well, because more people sold than bought. And that's a trolly answer, but that's the answer I want to give, because that's the only true answer there is.
Yeah.
There's no one reason. You're not going to go around and poll everybody to find out what their reason for selling or buying was. You're never going to do that. So what's the point? And worry about it. It's just fun to talk about fundamentals.
Fundamentals, yeah. Man, where to go from here as far as, I think the Dow made its all-time high, right?
Yeah.
NASDAQ is starting to break high again. So S&P is probably the lagger of the three.
What's going to be the aggregate?
The Russell, I didn't even think about that. The Russell. So the Russell, I didn't even look at the Russell today.
Yeah, we should probably like have it here, but we don't. We know what's going on basically. Yeah, we're making new highs. Stock market's still bullish, but it's the end of the year, man.
That was like a trivia question at my job.
What's that?
How much the Russell hit its all-time high last Wednesday?
Really?
Yeah, it was a trivia question.
Oh wow.
And your thoughts moving forward as far as this market to go up any higher in general. To me, in my mind, I'm like, man, how much higher? I mean, it's like Tesla. Like, how much higher can all this stuff really go?
It depends on your horizon.
Right.
Like I had someone ask me something similar to that yesterday. Young guy who is making money and he wants to start building his portfolio. And he's like, I don't feel like I can buy here. Like, I think my strategy is I want to wait for a correction.
Yeah.
And I told him in March, when the world was ending, I did not take every penny I had and put it in the stock market. I've been doing this for a decade.
I took a third.
Good for you. You're better than me.
But it was actually like stimulus
Why not
money.
everything?
It was like a third of the stimulus money I got.
Okay.
So the government gave me all this money, and
Yeah, it's some free money you put in.
it
Okay.
into the.
Okay.
I started my Roth IRA.
Yeah.
I take that back. 2/3.
Okay.
All right, because I put the other half into my futures and.
Well, you're already ahead of me.
Currency, so-
You're already ahead of me. The point though is that like when the market's going down, it's going down for a reason, and the reason is nobody wants to buy, and and when I say nobody, that includes you, just in general. And so this strategy of I'm going to catch a pullback, it's incredibly hard to catch that falling knife. You can't rely on yourself to do that. That is not a good strategy, because everyone's feeling the same way you are, and you're going to be hesitant just the same. You're going to miss it. What I told him is, it's not great sage, wisdom, but buy a stock that you think is going to be around in 10 years and don't care about it. I mean, think about it in those terms, because as Warren Buffett said, rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2,
FANG, FAN or FAANG, Facebook, Apple.
No, don't invest in those.
Those ain't gonna be around in 10
No.
years?
Well, that's the thing. Like, okay, so is Coca-Cola going to be around in 10 years?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Is Facebook going to be around in 10 years?
Maybe.
Exactly, maybe. That's the thing. That's why they go up so much, is because there's so much risk associated with it. And so they don't pay a dividend. They expect to grow. That's how investors get paid.
So how do you feel about, because we talk a lot about technical analysis, right? And kind of poke fun at fundamentals. But, one of the things I've been trying to do a little more research on, when you find those long-term investment stocks, doing the financial breakdowns of them. I follow a couple accountants that have given some really good insight on that. I've got a couple economic books I've been trying to flip through a little bit, and you're basically breaking down their financials. Yahoo
Mhm.
Finance has all that too. Where you can look at it. Do you believe in that stuff?
Um,
Do you feel it's worth the time? I mean, do you think it's just based on the trader's personality?
not
Like,
not
what's your
now. No, because you have like the other day I made the example where you have what is it? What was I looking at? I was looking at Ford, which has a basically a negative price to earnings ratio. And when they had their earnings, they went up like double digit percents on earnings. And then you have other stocks which are trading like at Amazon, which is I don't have these numbers in front of me, but it's trading at huge price to earnings ratios. Like that's what the old age fundamental analysis was price to earnings ratio. You got this one trading at negative that goes up, and you got this one trading at multiple ones that's fluctuate. That doesn't work anymore. It may work again one day.
yeah?
It doesn't work right now. And so, but that makes sense because if everyone was doing it, if it was easy, then everybody would be making money on it. The people that are doing fundamental analysis now, they're not writing books about it yet. I'll say that. There's probably a fundamental analysis that works, but the people that are making money on it have not written their books on it
I
because
mean,
it's still working.
even when you watch CNBC, you can tell we're in uncharted territory because
Who
even
watches
those guys,
CNBC?
this guy right
Okay.
here, okay, um, you could tell that they're even perplexed, and can't make sight
So quit
or
trying to
head
make
with.
sense of
So
it. Quit trying to make sense.
it's just pure entertainment in the background.
It is, but
You know,
there's two sides of the thing. Which, okay, so I talked about like the investing. To your question, what should people do? There's investing and there's trading. They're they're not exclusive, but there's a big difference between what I said about putting money away, that you're gonna like let it sit there. The whole point is capital preservation, something that's going to be around for 10 years, and then there's trading. Trading is using the technical analysis to create opportunities with a statistical edge of success. You're not going to get 100%. You're going to take losers. And whether you're doing technical analysis or fundamental analysis, you're sitting there in the nitty-gritty trying to find like this magic, calculation on the company's balance sheet so that this company is going to go up. But you don't know. And so the problem I have with like trying to do long-term fundamental or technical analysis is you don't have enough statistical instances of it happening to like you're in statistics, you have an n number of occurrences.
yeah.
You just don't have that many instances to really give yourself a very good impression. Like it's so hard to do macro investing because you really only have it's every few years. Like we live in a different time today, obviously, than we did in 2008, than we did in 2001, than we did in 1987. Like we just live in a different world. And so when you're trying to like say like, okay, well this year this is what is going to be a play, or like sector rotation. Well, oil has been at this price before, but not in the situation the dollar's been in. And so it's like you have all these variables coming together, and then you have to make a trade, and you better hope that you're right because you're only going to find out in like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's I've just and you know what I've gotten really humble about not knocking anyone's particular method. What works for me is swing time frame, maybe even lower, statistical trading setups. That's trading. Investing, that's where I say the 10-year thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just to your point that you made earlier. I think you really have to separate the two. And I don't want to knock fundamental investing. It's just not something that I have done much research on because well, I just like technicals better.
Well, let's get on another subject that you and I have talked about. You have been working on creating some of your own indicators here, and in doing so, we've talked about people want you to send them signals and all that whole kind of concept of selling signals, and you're feeling towards it and all that stuff. And that's a big thing, man. That's a lot of my YouTube commercials are all geared to these like get rich fast scheme, trade now. And I just think that's always a fun topic because I know some people personally who get caught up in that and they spend all this money on this stuff and never go anywhere. And
People will sell you the dream. They're more than happy to take your money.
yeah,
And it aggravates me because I look at trading as an art. I have such an appreciation for it as an art and a science.
so it can't be put into a box and automated, huh? Because that's what they all
No.
want to do, right?
No,
They all want the machine to work for them, and they wake up and their bank account is millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, because they don't want to work.
Yeah, who does?
I like working in trading, but most people don't. Most people don't want to put into it. So,
Let's go stimulus.
yeah, exactly. Might get another one. Nah,
Give me another paid vacation. Let's
was
go,
nice.
Biden.
So the thing that I've realized by getting more public and stuff like that is how easy it would be and is to start one of these paid discords. You know that meme of Fry from Futurama, like holding up dollar bills saying, "Shut up and take my money." That is
Yeah.
some of the messages I've been getting from people. They literally are just saying like, "Hey, can I
And
pay
and when it doesn't work, what do you do?
When it
can't-
doesn't
where's
work,
the
I wait-
refund? Do they
when-
get their money back? Like
well,
it's not. It's like
That's the problem. When I wake up in the morning and a trade's not working out, and I've got all these people complaining about it, and I've got to keep myself mentally sharp to find new trades for my trading, and now I've got that negative emotion.
yeah.
No, then I'd be done. I already know why I would quit doing that is because I go through drawdowns. And that's another thing. Like I'm not one of these gurus that's kind of like, oh, look at me, look at all these wins. I'm just winning, 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 winning. No, I will be a whiny little bitch whenever I go through a drawdown, and then I'll get over it, and I'll be honest about it because it helps to get it out sometimes.
Yeah.
But these gurus have to put it out there, like they have these, the 100% success rate. They never lose. They're completely infallible, and that just pisses me off because I know it's a lie.
If you have a really good strategy that protects your risk, forget about the reward. I have learned that you're going to lose more often than you're going to win. You just have to make sure your winners are pretty damn big.
Yes. Oh, please. Yes. Say
That's
that
why I
again.
like that.
Say that again.
I said, I said basically, if you have a strategy that protects your risk, you're going to have more losing than you do winners.
Yes.
And that's trading is so. What I love about trading is how much it has made me be more of a realistic person within looking at myself in the mirror and understanding a lot of the aspects of my life, because this society really looks up and holds that pedestal of you have to be a winner all the time, right? And when you are a winner, when you are like a Mayweather that's like 50-0, some of these other guys that have great outstanding records, undefeated, they're champs. You want to see them. It's like almost this aura of wanting to see them lose, right? But we also glorify them winning too. Like, oh my God, yeah, they're amazing too. But yeah, and somewhere inside of us, we want to see them lose too, because you know why? Because we're all losers. At the end of the day, the reality is we all take losses every day. But we have this negative mindset towards that to where we don't embrace those losses. A lot of times we try to neglect or turn them off or ignore or not even acknowledge losses because that's bad. When the reality is that's actually how we grow character. And there really needs to be a fundamental psychological change of embracing these losses, learning from these losses, and moving forward and sharing from our, that's the other part too, is not just learning, but sharing with others. That whole thing, the wise old man trying to teach that young buck. I was watching the movie Colors, and I thought this was really cool. And this whole line kind of comes full circle in the end of the movie, where the young guy's now teaching the new partner, but the young guy, Sean Penn, and is it Robert Duvall? I think it is. He says there's two bulls sitting on the top of the hill, and the young bull says, "Man, let's run down there and fuck one of them cows." Oh, I'm sorry, back up. They're overlooking a pasture of cows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the young bull's like, "Man, let's run down there and go fuck some of these cows." And the old bull's like, "Shit, fuck that. Let's walk down there and fuck them all."
Mm-hmm.
And it just
that's an old fable, yeah.
it's just the wise man, in peeking on some knowledge, of like, hey man, I've been doing this for a while. What's the rush? We got all the time in the world. We got this. And I just even talking with my nephews about things, especially Chris in particular, he's going through a lot, and it's funny how I have been there saying some of these things. hey, you probably shouldn't do this. You probably, be careful about this, blah, blah, blah. And he does it anyway. And he comes back full circle. He's like, yeah, you're right, Uncle Mike, blah, blah. And I was like, all right. Even though during the time I was like all nervous, it's nice to see he came out of it okay and also learning the lesson, And same thing with my parents. I remember that moment where, especially while helping take care of my nephews, where I'm looking back at them and I just remember one day just apologizing to them. I'm like, man, I'm sorry.
It takes a lot to apologize.
Yeah, and it was, it's just one of those moments of clarification of growing up and maturity of like, yeah, man, y'all did everything y'all could to try to help me, and I know I was stubborn and I had to learn my hard way, and I'm sorry if I, gave you guys some scares and some of the stuff I went through, but hell yeah, y'all were right all along, like I get it, and trading is that, man. It is about being okay with taking losses, learning from your losses, and moving forward and trying not to trying out of vocabulary, not make the same mistake twice.
Yep.
Right. And there's just also like you said, an art, but this discipline. Because even artists have to be disciplined in their craft, right? They practice every day, just for that whole idea of an artist to get a perfect circle. That's how, oh God, was it Michelangelo or Leonardo? One of them was like to challenge somebody in their artistic skills. He would see if you could draw a perfect circle, because it's that repetition of that hand movement,
That's hard.
It is.
I
It
could
is.
not do that.
I used to be able to do it back in
Really?
the day. I mean, I drew a lot, man. I mean, I drew
You're
out of
not-
boredom.
You're an artist.
I drew out of
you're talented
boredom.
for
I don't
it.
have enough boredom anymore, so I don't do
Yeah.
art, which is kind of sucks because I was pretty good.
Failures is definitely the best teacher, man. And I got going back to what you said there. I got again, like I'm starting to see, this is a me problem, but it's like when I'm putting myself out there trying to help people, and I get frustrated with them because they don't do the things I know they should do that they have to learn. It was the same thing about the taking the losers and having to make the big wins. I got so mad about this trade that I was in with somebody else this week, and they cut it for like $100, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, I'm tired of losing." I was like, "You're gonna lose anyway. Make big wins.
Yeah.
You got to make up for it with the big wins." And I could have been wrong. He could have been right. Doesn't matter. It is still going now, so I was right. But it just goes to show us, like, I understand. I hate losing. But it's just part of it. And man, I've this year I've made so many mistakes, man.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to like hate to lose, right? Because I love competition. I love being competitive, right?
No, I just I want to already have the knowledge before I make the mistake. That's the problem. Every time I've made a mistake this year, I know. I'm just.
That's like that whole go get you a time machine and I could go back with
exactly
what I know now, right?
Exactly. Well, every time I make a mistake, I do learn something. I write it on a sticky note. I write it in my notepad. I lock it in my brain because it's so painful. The more painful it is, the more I'm going to know. Like this real estate thing I was telling you about, that was a painful lesson. But you know what? It was tuition, and so it's. I'm not going to make the same mistake again.
So let's reflect on that because
I don't want to talk about the real estate.
No.
That's not my thing.
Just
Trading
a
is my
quick
thing.
thing,
Okay.
right? Because you did get a lot into your emotions, right? Even to the point where, it had you feeling a certain way. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the way it played out, right? It didn't turn out to be as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Right. Yeah.
And at the same time, it also allowed you to come to a conclusion that, you know what, this is not me and this is not what I really want to do.
Yeah. I realized that I was trying something. I was trying it on, like some clothes. Like I was trying on real estate investing, and my heart wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Because there was this one day where it was like a week or two ago, and I'm sitting there, I'm trading, I'm working on my new breakouts and stuff like that, doing my back testing, watching my positions, and I get a call about something that's blowing up with the real estate. And now I have to, I felt myself have to do the brain switch, and it annoyed me because I wanted to stay in my zone with trading, and now I had to switch gears and think about real estate. And I did not enjoy it as much. It was a distraction from what I wanted to do. And so I said, in this whole process, when it was all kind of coming to a head, I said, you know what? I'm just going to take the loss and just stay true to myself, and let that be my tuition. That, there were times through it where I was like, oh, this isn't quite right. My instinct was telling me, now I know to listen to that, and I know to stay true to what I want to do, which is trading, because I like being able to click a mouse and get out of a position. You can't do that with a house. So
There you go, man. Simple as that. House is the, when I look at real estate, I think of that 10-year thing you talk about, but even longer. You got to plant the seeds, you got to nurture the soil, you got to let it grow, you got to take care of it while it's growing.
If you have renters, though, you have to deal with people.
Well, that's like dealing with, like, I don't know if this is necessarily the right analogy, but like, pesticides and things like that. You could keep it natural and you don't want to put pesticides, so you're going to open yourself up to, a lot of problems. But at the same time,
well, that's just silly. Let's go back to using mules.
Without the tenants, you're not going to have the cash flow.
Yeah, that's another pet peeve of mine when people talk about passive income. There ain't no such thing as passive income. You either had to work to get there, you have to work to keep it going. Because if you're not working at it, someone else is going to take it from you. That's just the bottom line. Like when you have renters, which I do, and they're great, but that was another thing. It's like,
how about maybe a little more passive than like, it's about valuing the physical time you put in, right? Like I physically go to work to get that check.
Yes.
Whereas real estate, you're probably having to get on a phone call and call the maintenance guy to come over and fix this, and now that's your physical hours of sitting in a chair on a phone.
Yeah, I had to go spend an afternoon.
And maybe go out there every now and then to overlook the job, but luckily you don't have to do the physical work that you pay the maintenance guy to do.
Well, no, that's the thing. I'm doing everything myself. When I can't do, I got to pay. Like I went out there and caulked a bathroom tub.
How was that?
I mean, fortunately I had to do a dial a friend because I don't know this stuff.
Okay.
And he was like, "Don't worry about it. Just you can't do too much, and it can't be too messy. Get your finger in some warm hot water and just spread it out." And I was like, "Wow, this is working." I wouldn't have known that though if I hadn't called him because he works in that kind. But see, that's the thing. Like people that want to do real estate, they get into this. They But me, then it's for you. It's for you. For me, I want to be in front of a spreadsheet.
I like working with
I
my
want to be
hands,
back testing. I want to be doing the things that I want to do. I don't really want to go and change siding.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because last night I was working on editing a video, and I was getting frustrated because it took up a lot of my day. I had woken up and was very ambitious about getting a bunch of videos done because I had these 2 days off. But I spent most of it getting frustrated because I didn't really attack this project probably correctly. So I had 4 different video angles. All right, and what had happened was the camera had turned off on 2 of them throughout the video, so there was gaps. So I had to the editing feature has this cool thing where you sync the audio and the sound. So I was syncing. But what was happening, the audio that I wanted to keep kept moving around because I was using that as my reference, and I was frustrated because I couldn't figure out how to lock that in, keep it there, and have all the other videos sync to that. Eventually, I did get it to work. Cool. Got that done, cooked some dinner, came back down, refreshed. I'm going to start editing now. I'm start going through and putting all my markers in where I'm going to cut. And as I got through it, I realized I was like, man, I do not like sitting in front of this computer for so long. I need something physical to do. So I went and started rearranging some things, for the podcast stuff, just doing physical stuff to like, I don't know. I just needed that physical motion there for a minute to like, yeah, I'm like one of those people that I get frustrated and I'll clean and I'll scrub that sink forever until it's spotless. But I'm, it's like this weird way of getting that like emotion out, I know my mom does that too, but a lot of people probably they just clean when they get angry. And it was just interesting because that going back to your thing about why I like working with my hands. I like to build. I like to, just do stuff, and I need that stuff in my life sometimes to have that. Just that work. It's weird to like dial out and kind of get into that,
Well, I found that for this whole experience with all this podcast and stuff like that, you notice how like I dropped it down 2 cameras and stuff like that. That's the point I got to where I was like, you know what, I can either brute force this with just more hours editing it, or I can just simplify my workflow. And like you've been like, oh, good job for putting out the videos. It's because it's so easy to just record it on TradingView,
You know, it's funny.
and
I
just
need,
send
I
it
need,
straight
I
out to
need to take
YouTube.
a page out of your book.
Just do it. Just
And be simple.
It's
I
just as
overthink
simple.
things,
It's just as
and
simple
I want
as
things to be awesome and magical.
You don't
but
have to think.
You've done great stuff.
you don't
with
have to think.
yours.
You go up in the top right, you hit the play little button
Yeah,
up there.
yeah.
You record it,
Yeah.
and then right there it's got a little checkbox like YouTube, bloop, and it just goes out to YouTube. You just edit this description, and now you got it on YouTube. You know, sometimes like I'll have to like get a few seconds in, and then I'll have to restart. But the other thing is once you get into it, and you're about 5 or 10 minutes, there's no editing that you can do on the TradingView. So it's just like you just got to go. And you're just like, okay, I said this, but we're just gonna keep going. And so it saves up on that. So that's it's. You can brute force problems like that, or you can change your workflow.
You're right, because as much as I like to tackle, I would love to get some more content going on with my trading, and I need to simplify it instead of trying to have all these like green screens and stuff like that and all this crazy stuff. But I think I'm gonna take a page out of your book. I feel like I set the seed for you to get rolling, and now you're setting the seed for me to get it going again.
You definitely help. This year has been a good year. You definitely gave me.
Well,
the
let's
right push.
say the next close of the bar.
Uh-huh.
I want to do some research. If you want to do some research, let's do a recap of 2020, because we'll be in 2021 when we do this next podcast, and I think it'd be a great idea to take a look at all the winners and losers, all the ones that were hypes and the ones that weren't hype, maybe the ones that flew underneath the radar that we should have been invested in.
So I've got an idea to that note. I've been talking to Dylan, who basically I got to give props to him because he's run this Discord that has gotten me really, really out there. And he and I want to do a podcast. I think we might call it the Intrabar or something. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
I
But
like that.
but he's all the way over in Germany, so we'd have to do a web. And so we were going to do that sometime this month. If we're going to do that, what we could do is just sit down. But yeah, that's something to work on. So you want to close it out with this?
Hell yeah,
man.
Wes.
All right, see you in the next
Again,
one.
to being consistent.
Mhm.
2020. Not getting either of us down. I caught COVID. You did not.
Hopefully I will eventually. So
You know,
That's
that's
okay,
probably
so.
the best thing, just to kind of finish on this final note. It's one of those things where, you just, I think it's a little more hype to that than I think there's a lot of fundamentals in it than technical analysis. How about that for
Segue.
you? Cheers again, bro. Peace out.